When best friends Shannon Locke and Angelitza Davila set out to create a podcast in 2018 to explain K-pop to curious newcomers, they initially thought they'd wrap up after just a few episodes. Nearly 300 episodes later, their initial desire to break down K-pop for an unfamiliar audience has evolved into a 7-year journey documenting the genre's transformation from a niche interest to a global cultural phenomenon that now dominates mainstream music charts and fills stadiums worldwide. The weekly podcast, Ask Me About K-pop, invites listeners into the world of K-pop, exploring current issues in the scene, new releases, and the histories of artists or major agencies that have shaped the industry. The show began after the co-hosts had the opportunity to create an episode about K-pop when Locke was working at a podcast network and on its show, How to Be Less Old, in 2017. Angelica and I were guests on an episode about K-pop, and we had so much fun trying to break down our favorite hobby into easily understood points. It kind of woke something up in us, Locke told the Korea Times in a written interview. They created their own show with the aim of offering insight and serving as an encyclopedia for those unfamiliar with K-pop, sharing their passion and knowledge. The early episodes provide a guide through the K-pop world, explaining the structure of idol groups and their musical concepts, as well as breaking down the top three agencies, SM, YG, and JYP Entertainment, that dominated the scene. Our first episode came out when the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics were in Korea, and there were a lot of articles like, "What is K-pop?" because artists like CL and EXO performed at the ceremonies. So our show gave a fan's answer to that question, Davila said. Locke added that the more they delve into the industry, the more they uncover to share with their listeners. We definitely started on a mission to teach people everything that we knew about K-pop. But we quickly found that we were learning so much more than we thought we knew. I think we're both deeply curious people that just want to know everything, so I think that the show started to morph into us chasing down our own curiosities, Locke said. Becoming a long-running show spanning 7 years, the podcast has covered a wide range of industry topics, from introductory content to in-depth stories, such as those of disbanded girl groups. It also invites guests like songwriter Chick, the composer behind hit songs such as EXO's Monster, and K-pop groups including BLITZERS and ONEUS, offering listeners an up-close insight into the industry. The first intention was educating and welcoming new fans into our favorite hobby in an easy-to-digest way. Then there was a point where we were so active in the fandom and it was growing so quickly, that we were able to cover current events, or give concert recaps and do artist interviews, Locke said. As K-pop's growth started to become overwhelming, now we've sort of moved into a space where we most often talk about K-pop history. It's a little easier to talk about things that have already happened and fascinating to see how they have informed things in the present. Davila added that the show distinguishes itself from other K-pop podcasts by engaging the audience with fresh topics that were not widely discussed before. There are other shows that keep up with all the new releases, so we like diving into lesser-known topics or answering questions about K-pop that we ourselves have wondered, she said. The co-hosts take pride in going the extra mile to research and offer deeper insights into K-pop, rather than settling for topics that merely scratch the surface. I think we're both very proud of our more research-heavy episodes. In our K-pop in America episode, we went all the way back to the 1950s with the Kim sisters on The Ed Sullivan Show. Or our K-pop Meets Tradition episode, where we learned about traditional Korean instruments and clothing, and then looked at how they were featured in different K-pop releases. Those were really fun for us to make and share with our listeners, Davila said. K-pop has grown into a major genre worldwide, making a significant impact on the global music scene. The two hosts, who have witnessed its growth over the years of running their show, shared that online platforms enabling artist-fan interactions have played a crucial role in helping the genre expand its audience. Nowadays, leaving comments and liking on the artist's Instagram has shifted into apps like Weverse and Bubble, where people are actually getting text messages from their idols, Locke said. And after the pandemic, things like fansign events that used to only be accessible to fans in Korea have totally shifted to virtual phone calls, so you can have one-on-one time with your idol no matter where you are in the world. It is pretty mind-blowing to me as an old-school fan just how accessible idols are these days. Despite its growing popularity, K-pop has often been criticized for its rigorous training system and highly competitive industry. The co-hosts shared that such views from Western media can undermine the artist's efforts, noting that it's disappointing to see these narratives from the perspective of fans. And it can be frustrating as a fan when those stories become all that people know about K-pop, because then the artistry and the talent of the idols, even the accomplishments and records that they're setting in the global music scene, get invalidated and overshadowed, Davila said.